Thank you all for being here. You have no idea what this means to me to see so many people here. You know, the fact that you're all the least bit interested in something that I wrote, it's really, I have no words. Thank you so much for all being here. So as you can tell, I have this amazing family, and I really couldn't have done any of this without all their support and love. I want to thank, of course, my publisher, 9 Star Press, for taking a chance on my works, my 3 works. They surprisingly picked the 3 up, and they're all available, and this is the debut novel, The Calling. So I'm, you know, as Jean mentions, an editor is key, and I've got one of the best editors around, Jason. He is absolutely phenomenal. He gives me such a hard time because my grammar sucks. He's like, "Did you mean this?" It's like, "Yes, I meant that." So he, you know, a good editor is amazing, but Jason is just a godsend. I want to thank David and Con Russo for hosting us here in this beautiful facility tonight. I want to thank Kristen. I saw her sneak in. Hi, Kristen. And Hillary. Hi, guys. From the party helpers. They did the spread that is there. And one of the characters you'll read in the book, Juliet, absolutely loves the party helpers. So I know she would be thrilled with this, with the food and everything. So you've got an immortal. I mean, on your side, 1,500 years of experience, she knows. So thank you for being here, guys. I want to thank Frank for his help with the videos. He did that on his spare time and made me, if you guys have seen him, he actually made me look like I have a clue. I kept them really short to about 2 minutes, so they're not too painful. I also want to thank Jose for being here, snapping away, doing pictures. There he is, he's hiding. So thank you. Sometimes in life, you meet a group of people, and you don't know it at the time, but they become more than coworkers, more than friends. They become your family. So thank you to my wonderful Catholic Charities family. I couldn't have done any of this without you. Your support, your cheerleading, you're constantly pushing me. There are some very pushy women in here. Help with press releases. Help when I'm basically floundering and freaking out and going, "Oh my God, you want me to do what exactly? You want me to do how? And what do you mean you want me to talk to a reporter? Huh? Okay, sure." You all rock. So thank you guys. And then there are 2 people who, and I mean this with all sincerity, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here at all. 3 years ago, I wrote this story that I've been working on for 20 plus years, or 20 years, or 19 years. My science fiction story, which isn't published yet, but I gave it to them to read. And just tell me what they thought. I didn't know anybody, and I was like, you know what, I'll take a chance and have them read it. And they read it, and they, in a very lovingly and kind manner, ripped it to shreds. But they did it in the nicest possible way. But what they did was they told me what they thought, and they told me what I needed to hear. Because of them, and after I recovered from their feedback, I joined a writing group. Fast forward to tonight, and we've got The Calling. Yeah. So Linda and Fran, I couldn't have done this without you guys. I mean, I know I talked to Fran earlier, and she said, "What? I didn't do anything." I said, "No, you did so much. It just means the world to me, and I'm so glad you're both here. And Linda is a force to be reckoned with, so you know, if you ever need anything done, talk to her. Okay, anyways. So enough of me blathering on about all the thank yous and everything like that. You're not here for that. You're here to learn a little bit more about the calling, which, like I said, Jean did an amazing job. So, you know, just go with what she said. So I want to tell you a little bit about the calling. I've always loved vampire stories. I've always loved vampires. They've always been very interesting to me and just very cool. So when I got this little itch in the back of my brain for the calling, it started with the what if. You read vampire books, you read witch books, you read anything about supernatural forces, and you think, or at least I do, how could that work in today's society? We've got okay, I can tell you right now that there's at least been 10 or 12 cameras that I've seen up in here, just in this room tonight. How could they live? If there's stacks of people's bodies showing up that are drained of blood in the middle of the street, it's going to make YouTube. I mean, the jig is up at that point. I mean, somebody's going to figure it out. So I started with the whole what if idea of how would they work? How would that even be possible? What would that look like? How, given social media's impact on society, how would any of that be even feasible? So I thought about it, and the characters started coming forward a little bit like Jean said, and they started telling me their story, and they told me how it worked in their world. And that's what I wrote. So I wanted to play with that idea, have some fun with it. Kind of tell a story that was just a little bit different. I don't have anything against sparkly vampires. I like sparkly vampires, but sparkly vampires didn't really seem that realistic to me. But you know, hey, it's Soul, and she did a great job, and they're phenomenal books, and good for her. I own them all, and I read every single one of them, and I thought them. So you know, no shame there. But I also wanted to focus on a non-typical location. I wanted to focus on San Jose. You know, I wanted to spotlight San Jose. I wanted to spotlight the South Bay. I wanted to spotlight places like Saratoga and Los Altos and Morgan Hill to really show our home as an exciting and interesting place to live. And since it's the heart of the technology world, I thought it'd be fun to jab at how vampires, or immortals as they're called in the book, use technology to their advantage, to stay out of the media. So what I'm going to read, I am going to read something, that's why I grabbed the book. What I'm going to read is from chapter 5. This is right after our main character, Duncan, finds out from Juliet that there are vampires and that she is one of them. What I love about this section is that for the first time, we get to see Juliet and Duncan bond. It's a big moment for the two of them. And we end up with Duncan having the realization that he's not just a passive passenger on this adventure or in his life that he thought he was. It really is one of my favorite moments in the book. I was quiet again and finding my eyelids growing heavy. So I only had a couple of questions that I really wanted to be answered. Why me? What if I choose to stay human? The first part of your question will require a little more explanation, Juliet replied. As for the second, as Victor told you, I'm of the light, and I will not force you to do anything. If you choose not to take the offer, then I will do to you what I did to the others. I will alter your memories and send you home to your life in Reno. You will not remember any of this ever happening, and you will live out the rest of your life in the simple bliss with the money I gave you. I went to speak. Juliet raised her hand. You won't have to worry about the dark. You'll be off limits to all vampires. None of them will bother you. I let that information flow over me as I processed her words. Another series of questions popped into my mind. Amazing how that works. What about my work? What about my friends? What about Cindy? I cursed myself for not responding to her text earlier. Did you affect me so that I wouldn't want to contact her or anyone else for that matter? Have you been messing with my mind? I would not make you do anything you didn't want to, Juliet replied. I'm not allowed, nor is any of the light vampires able to force you to do anything against your will. I only enhanced your curiosity and kept you from worrying or being uneasy. Your friend Cindy is fine. What you decide, your friend, you know, I wrote this, you think I'd be okay. Your friend Cindy is fine, whatever you decide. There we go, comment in the right place. Good editing, guys. She'll be okay and not remember anything either way, but the test. As for the details of you being here, one of Gregor's vampires is with Cindy. Gregor is a friend. He has been watching her and in a way manipulating her ever so slightly to keep her from bombarding you with messages while you've been on vacation. Still, we wanted to ensure you got a couple of messages so you felt like you had a connection and a safety net in case you needed it. That actually helped. If anything happened to Cindy because of all this, I would never forgive myself. That would be one more thing I would have on my plate. However, I wasn't worried, which I was starting to find annoying. So why me? That is a much more difficult question to answer. When I decided I needed a companion, so to speak, a series of events and actions, both in and out of my control, were set into play. I can explain that more later. The reason I chose you is because she stopped and took several sips of her red as I was starting to think of it. Well, because you were unlike any of the others who came to me. You answered the call. Each of you, had your own unique qualities, but you, when I saw you, I knew. She smiled at me. Duncan, you picked me as much as I picked you. You wanted to be here. You wanted to be here with me and to be my call, becoming what I am. Did she just tell me I wanted to become a vampire? I made it through that. So there you go. So that's a bit about the story. I hope you're as excited to learn more about these characters so that you'll want to go on this adventure with them. There's a whole bunch of other stuff here that I wrote, but it already got covered. We're going to be doing the Who's, as David mentioned, the Who's reading the calling. That'll be fun. So guys, buy the book, and I hope you do. Snap a picture of it, and you can tag it either on my Facebook page or on my fan page, and you'll be going up there. So there are already some that have been posted up there, and we'll be doing some other things with them too. I've not been completely told exactly what we're going to be doing with them. Again, it's the bossy women and the people in charge. So we'll be doing things like that. Now for something that I've been so excited to see, I can't wait. So we're going to do a champagne sword toasty thing that David knows how to do. So all I know is that it involves champagne and a sword and more champagne. So, David.
Marvin, I can't think of, how do I express our love for you? I was thinking we've got to do something with lots of bravado, so I thought I'd savor some champagne. Everyone over here should walk away.
He's not kidding.
You'll promise me when we finish this that each of you will help me have a glass. Marvin, this is for you.